Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm so glad you've stopped by because today we are reviewing the Morphe x Coca Cola collaboration. And I'm so excited about this collection. It is so cute. And I love Coca Cola. Well, before I started my keto diet, I loved Coca Cola. But I still love Coca Cola. And I do enjoy most Morphe products that I try. So I'm excited to see how this turns out and what all of the products in this collection actually look like. So if you are as well excited to see how this turns out and you want to know what products are in this collection, how this eyeshadow palette Swatches performs like, and what my initial first impressions are of the entire collection, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. Okay guys, so what we have here is a brush collection, an eyeshadow palette, a 4-piece lip collection, a loose highlighter, and a beauty sponge collection. I'm gonna go ahead and go through this collection like I would if I was doing my makeup just regularly, in which case we would need our tools to begin with. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the brush set and the sponge set. This is the Coca Cola x Morphe Sweep It Real brush collection, and this was $29. I love all of this packaging. Not just the packaging, but the actual bag aesthetic, the entire aesthetic of the whole collection. I love all of this. The Coca-Cola is just cool. Plus, it's kind of timeless because Coca-Cola, I feel like, is gonna be around forever, whether it's in the makeup community, the lifestyle community, the blogging community, the vlogging community. Coca-Cola is Coca-Cola, you know? Okay, so the bag is a cute little brush bag. I wouldn't be able to fit my face brushes in here. Not very many of them anyway, but I would my eye brushes. I feel like 30 bucks is a little steep, but I don't know what brushes are in it yet, so let's not judge all the way. I do actually really like the brush collection. I love how the handle of the brushes looks like an old school Coke bottle. It goes, you know, from that thicker width to the thinner width. It's really neat. It looks like a Coke bottle. That's awesome. So within this collection, we've got the Glowing Places highlighter brush. Looks like it's a cute little fan brush, I'm assuming for the loose highlighter. Looks like this is called the High Life brush. It is another highlighting brush. It's a very big fluffy highlighting brush, so it's definitely going to get a good condensed highlight going on. Then this brush is the Made in the Shade brush. It's an overall shadow brush, like a big fluffy blending brush. Then this one is the Top Secret Camouflage brush. Looks like it's for contouring like a pro and a multitasking brush. Then it says this is the Take Charge blending brush, and it says that this is good for diffusing a look. I don't know if I agree with this brush description particularly, but that's what they say. Then the Next Move transition brush. This is apparently the perfect transition brush. And then the All-In Smudge Brush. This is to smoke out the lash line, and then some, as they say. And then, as I said before, the Sweep It Real brush bag, which is my favorite part of this. That's so awesome. Next is the Quench Pact Beauty Sponge Collection, and this is $15. Now we've got 4 sponges in this sponge kit, or pack, or whatever you want to call it. We've got the Highlight and Contour Beauty Sponge, which is just like their standard highlight and contour sponge. Then we've got the Mini Highlight and Contour Sponge, which is exactly a mini version of this sponge. Then we've got the Flawless Beauty Sponge, which is like their standard beauty sponge, and then the Mini Flawless Beauty Sponge, which is a mini version of their Flawless Beauty Sponge. I actually really like Morphe sponges, so I feel like for 15 bucks this isn't bad for 4 sponges. And mini sponges are perfect for the under eye. And I know this is kind of weird, but I keep any cups like this that sponges come in because I actually use these and fill them up with water so that I can put my sponge in it to wet my sponge before my makeup routine. And it's nice to have something that I can store them in after I'm done wetting them. That is it for the tools from this collection. Now let's look at the eyeshadow palette. This is the Coca Cola x Morphe Thirst for Life eyeshadow palette, and it is $22. If you want to read more about any of the products that I talk about within this video, I'll have all of them linked in the description down below so that you can follow the links through there and see any additional information that you might want to know. Wow, that already looks really cool. It's so neat. It looks like one of those little sliding picture puzzles where you can slide all the blocks and then it ends up being a picture in the end. I really like this. This aesthetic is just really awesome. Okay, now let's open it up and see what the palette looks like. Oh, there's a little protective piece that just fell out. And the palette That red is pretty gorgeous. Both of those reds are pretty gorgeous. We have a bunch of neutral browns, about right for most Morphe palettes. A really pretty silver, a nice shimmery blue tone. Huh, okay, this is a pretty interesting palette. I am very curious to see what kind of look I'm gonna create with this. So let's go ahead and move right along. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in and we're gonna get started on swatches. The first shade is the shade Fizz. Bubble Up. Recognized. The Real Thing. Awaken. Wow, that was pretty. Name Drop. Open Up. Cool Story. Always Bright. Good in Red. Pop Culture. Add Life. Happiness. Can Do. Move It. All the Feels. Energetic. And Refreshing. Okay guys, that is every single shade from the Coca Cola x Morphe collaboration palette. As always, I will insert photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. And now here's a close-up of every single swatch just to show off what this palette actually is in its true form. Ooh. I'm actually kind of excited about this palette. Those swatches, to me, really do represent what I see in the colors of Coca Cola. I mean, you've got a pretty fair representation of the shades of Coke. So like the brown colors of the soda and the foam on the top whenever it gets poured and starts filling up. So I feel like I'm drawing inspiration from this palette. I did go ahead and prime my eyes with my P. Louise base in the shade Rumor 01, and let's go ahead and jump into a look. I'm gonna start by using this more flat smudging shader type brush. I don't know what it's called because I'm not gonna look back on the website to see the name of each brush that's in here. I'm just gonna use it for what I think it should be used for and call it a day. But with this, I'm gonna go into the shade Refreshing. Wow, that is almost a black. I didn't expect it to be that dark. It doesn't look that dark in the pan. Oh well, I'm just gonna take this shade into my crease. I'm also gonna go ahead and pull this shade out into more of a wing shape just so I can establish kind of the guideline for the rest of the look. Oh yeah, that definitely looks like the color of Refreshing. So now I'm gonna go in with this next fluffy brush, and now I'm gonna go into the shade Energetic. And with this one, it's gonna start getting applied just right above the shade Refreshing and on top of the shade Refreshing. Ooh, that's pretty. It's a little more purple than I thought it was gonna be. Leave it to me. I really like the effect that gives. I think that's really cool. It's so weird. I can't tell if that's a purple or a brown or a maroon. I don't know, but it's pretty. Since I finished with Energetic now, I'm gonna use the little blending brush, the smallest blending brush that's in the kit, and I'm gonna go into the shade The Real Thing. And same concept as before, I'm gonna go with half the brush on the tacky base and then the other half on top of the previous shade. Just like this. Weird. I guess because this brush is sort of new, instead of the taper of it going forward and being rounded at the bottom, it kind of makes a U shape. So whenever you press in powder on it, it has a line of powder on the top, then a line of powder on the bottom. I would probably recommend maybe rinsing these brushes and letting them air dry before you actually go in with your makeup first. Okay, so what I've done at this point is laid down the brunt of my color. I prefer going in and packing on shadows and then blending them out instead of just going in and blending. On the more natural days, for the more natural looks, I do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all the blending work off camera, and I will be right back. This got very dark very fast. I'm really glad that I decided red was gonna go on the lid rather than the crease, because I have no more room left for any other color. But these three do look very nice. They blended out really well. They stacked on top of each other really well, and I can tell the difference between the shades. So there's still pigmentation in each one enough so that they can work separately, but they also blend super well because you can still see a smooth gradient from one color to the next. So I really like this so far. Now, using the flat brush that came within the collection, I'm gonna use my P. Louise base in the shade Rude Boy Red. I'm gonna use this to cut my crease. The crease is now cut. I mainly just wanted to do this to get a good color base down because I'm going to be going in with the shade Pop Culture on my lid. And with that being just a pure glitter, you could kind of notice from the swatch that it wasn't quite as opaque as I wanted it to be. In other words, it didn't lay down a solid layer of pigment. So I wanted to put down a solid layer of pigment before I put the glitter down, so I would have just a nice even base tone to work off of. So now I'm going to use this Morphe X Sweety brush. It's another flat brush that's kind of like the two flat brushes I was previously using. Ooh. It looks like Christmas on my brush. I like that a lot. Let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, my heart. My heart, my heart. Oh, that is just miraculous. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do is go back into the shade Refreshing and use the same brush that I was using previously, and I'm just gonna lightly and gently press around the edges of the glitter and cover the top of it with that deeper shade so I can make it appear like there's a blend between the dark shade and the glitter shade. Just like that. You see how it just made it look like the glitter actually fades from dark to light? That's what I want. And the red is done. Now I'm gonna take my pinky finger and go into the shade Happiness because it looks like pure happiness. And I'm gonna put that just right on top of the center of the red. That is really pretty. That is so fun. So at this point, that's pretty much it for the crease and the lid. I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera to be able to finish off my face makeup. I'm just gonna use the sponges off camera because there's really no need for me to actually use them on camera. I can just use them and tell you what I thought about them by the time we get to the end of the video. And then I'll be back to show you guys the highlighter and the lip collection. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all of that off camera and I'll be right back. Face makeup is now done. It is time to finish off the lower lash line. And for that, I think I'm gonna warm up the color story a little bit on that part. So I'm gonna use this Morphe JS13 brush and go into the shade All the Feels. I'm just gonna start buffing this shade into the lower lash line. I'm also going to use the little smudger brush that came in the brush set because it's super cute. I don't know if what I'm about to do is going to work, but I'm going to go into the shade Good in Red, and I'm just going to take that on the very tippy end of this brush. So like literally the tippy end. And I'm just going to smudge this into my lower lash line right by my lashes. Oh, wow. That's really neat, actually. This is one of the sharpest brushes I think I have. Okay, so I feel like maybe I went a little bit red heavy on the lower lash line. It's very red. So now I'm gonna use this big C-shaped brush and go into the shade Refreshing again. And I'm gonna take this right on the outer edge of the lower lash line so that it will pull around and up into the crease again. That way it just continues the shape and still deepens the way that it does in the crease. Okie dokie, artichoke. Let's move on. What I'd like to do next is use my Luxie 141 mini round brush and go into the shade Always Bright. I actually used the shade Always Bright mixed in with my Lunar Beauty blush palette as my blush. It was really a nice touch. I like it. Okay, so I'm gonna use this super bright pigmented looking red as my inner corner highlight because why not, you know? Live a little. But I am gonna tap off all of the excess from the brush because I do not want red fallout all over my under eyes. That is really cool. I like that quite a bit. That is so cool! It's so different and so fun and I love it. I don't think I've ever had a pop of red inner corner. Now let's check out the loose highlighter. This is in the shade Pop It and it was $15. I feel like that's kind of pricey for a loose highlighter, but loose highlighters do last for like ever unless you use them very excessively. So this is what the component looks like. It's just a little canister, whatever you want to call it. It looks like a very bronzy highlighter. It has a sifter in the top, it looks like, and a little plastic piece to peel off. So I'm gonna start by using the fan brush that they provided. Ow, that hurt my heart. And we're gonna see how well this brush works for applying a loose highlighter. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like gold. And that's it for the highlighter. Now, I thought I was gonna end up using the highlighter on my brow bone, so I put the eyeshadow palette up because I thought I was done with it. But since that shade is so deep, I'm not gonna use it as my brow bone highlight. So instead, I'm gonna use the Morphe M416 brush, and I'm gonna use the shade Open Up as my brow bone highlight. I think this shimmer shade is like the epitome of what the fizz on top of a Coke looks like. Or at least the swatch of it was. Oh wow, that is beautiful. That is what I'm talking about. I'm also gonna have to take this teeny tiny Beaky Blender brush and go into that shade again and put this right inside of the red on my inner corner. Oh. Okay, that's it. It's just beautiful. It's just so beautiful. With that inner corner now applied and looking snatched as ever. Oh, I love that so much. That little glisten in the red. It's now time to finish the lips. And for that, we have the In the Moment lip collection. This was $19, and I think these are all 4 glosses. I'm really not 100% sure, honestly. It looks like they're all glosses, but a couple of them look very opaque. So this is the shade Overflow. There's the swatch of Overflow. Then the shade Share, like share a Coke with me. It's so cute. And that's the swatch for the shade Share. Then the shade Taste Maker, which literally looks like a fizzy Coke, or maybe like a Coke float, something like that. And there's the shade Taste Maker. And then the shade Classic Babe, which is this very fiery Coke red. And there's the swatch for Classic Babe. I think a very Coke-inspired gloss theme. Although I wouldn't just call this a gloss, these are very opaque. They're more like lip creams. I think I'm gonna go with Taste Maker. I really like that it looks like an actual Coca-Cola. Oh, it smells so good. I actually really like this lip formula. Whatever this is, I don't know if this is like a normal Morphe style lip gloss or not, but the level of pigment that these have in them, plus the way the gloss feels on the lips is amazing. I love the way this feels, and quite frankly, the way it looks. And with the lip now being completed, that means it is time for me to go off camera, put a little bit of color in my waterline, and finish off my mascara and lashes. And then I will give you guys my final thoughts on the Coca Cola x Morphe collection. So I'll see you guys right now. And we are back with the finished look. What do you guys think? I think I look bootyful. I used the Gerard Cosmetics Velour Liquid Lipstick in the shade Red Rum as my waterline liner because I don't have a red gel liner. I didn't realize that until now, but I don't. I also used my Tarte Lights Camera Splashes mascara, which worked very well with this newly reviewed Grande Cosmetics Grande Lash Lift Heated Lash Curler. If you want to see this review, I will leave it linked right up here. Worth a view, I promise. Anyway, what do I think about the Coca Cola X Morphe collection? I actually think it's pretty fantastic. I think the brush collection fit the actual collection pretty well. I mean, it came with a highlighter. You got a couple of highlighter brushes. It came with an eyeshadow palette. You got a couple of eyeshadow brushes. It pretty much lines it all up for you. And it also came with a very wide array of sponges, which I appreciate. I used the Morphe contour and highlight sponges, the mini and the big one. I like the mini for concealer and stuff like that. And I like the big one for all the foundation and cutting the jaw out and sort of things like that. I love the cute little bag that it also comes with. I could fit all 4 sponges in here and all the brushes if I wanted to. I wish that it was a little bit bigger of a bag, but I wouldn't want the price of a bigger bag, so I can appreciate that for what it is. Also, the palette is a very clear representation of Coca-Cola in my opinion. I mean, you've got the label shades for the aesthetic, you've got the shades of actual Coca-Cola, even the fizz and bubbles that are on top of it. And I just love that. I think that's really cool, and I think this is a really cool palette to have. I think it's a nice touch. It's not like the most multifaceted palette. You're not going to get like a rainbow look out of it, but it's a Coca-Cola palette. Why would you get a rainbow look out of it? The highlighter is definitely not my shade, but it is definitely beautiful. I wish I would have gotten the shade above this. I think I am still going to get the shade above this because this is beautiful. It's just not my shade. So it will only work if I wear a lot of bronzer for that day, but it's still really, really pretty. And I really, really like it still. This lip formula though, I like this a lot. I want more of these kinds of lip glosses or lip creams. They call it a lip gloss, but I don't feel like it's a lip gloss. I feel like it's a lip cream. It's a glossy lipstick. So literally everything that I got in this collection, I enjoyed. I thought it was worth the money. I would definitely recommend it to my mama. And then she'd be like, "Are you gonna buy it for me?" And I'd be like, "I love you, Mom. Here." So essentially, yes, definitely would recommend. But more importantly, I want to know what you guys think. Do you like the palette? Do you think it's a cool theme like I do? Do you wish that I would have been drinking a Coke this entire time? If you do, leave me a thumbs up. It'll let me know that you think that I really should have been drinking Coke while I filmed a Coca-Cola X Morphe collection review. Also, like this video if you like dogs or cats or not owning any pets. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I did. I had fun with this one. It was a great time and I really enjoy the look that was created out of it. Speaking of looks, if you want to see this look or any of my other looks again, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.